Naira Perez, welcome to the Marketing Study Lab podcast.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Excellent. As with all my guests, I like to start with a random opener to shake things up a bit. And the random opener that I've got for you is, how do you know if you're a data geek or not?
That's a great question. The answer will be, if you look at data and see a story, you are a data geek. When you cannot wait to get data, to look into it, and always have questions that generate more questions so you can go hunting for the answers, then you're a data geek. And if you see a spreadsheet and you think that it's beautiful, then you know you're a data geek. When other people will run away from the spreadsheet, it's like, and you're like, yes, I cannot wait to get into it. That's it.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. That's a great answer. That absolutely love it. Brilliant. Everyone, all the data geeks, like, yeah, come on. And if you're not, even if you're not, people are listening like, kind of want to be a data geek now.
It's beautiful. I call it the dark side, but yeah.
Excellent. Right. Okay. So let's get into a little bit more serious conversation. And what brings you to this dark side, this point in your career? And can you explain what you're up to now?
Yes. So I specialize in paid media. It's social paid media and search engine marketing, Google ads, Bing ads, which are now called Microsoft ads. And what brought me here is actually, I started in advertising through infomercials, which are, the fancy term is direct to consumer advertising. But we started in infomercials even before digital marketing was cool. So it is what I call performance-based marketing, which is every day we will get the calls that people made, the orders, the point in the script where people dropped off. We had all this data, and then we could make the strategy for the next day. What channels were we going in? What channels we will have to pull out of? And basically also by listening to the calls, we could see, okay, this is not flowing the way we want and people are getting confused, therefore we have to modify it. So I got just amazed at the fact that we could actually base our marketing in real trends, in real actionable things that we see. So I got addicted to it. And from then on, it was all paid media all the time. I love branding, and my job as a marketer is to protect the brand while getting results. And that's how I always looked at infomercial. It was, we protect the brand, but we get sales, and we analyze every step of the sale process. So yeah, that's how I got hooked up on the data geek part of advertising. And from then on, then the internet, Facebook started to be really big, and I wanted to learn more, because with TV advertising, you have to wait, a day, and then your strategies, sometimes we could do them, change them on a dime, on 1 week or 2 weeks, but it was a long process. Where Facebook advertising, Google advertising was instantaneous almost. And I just couldn't resist.
You couldn't wait for that data.
Exactly. So went into digital advertising by myself, and then just got every piece of information possible to know more, and just how other people were doing it. Then went and got a certificate in it, just kind of put all the concepts I had learned through experience together. Worked for an agency, and decided that I didn't like how agencies were, we had philosophic differences, and I decided to do my own. So excellent. I truly believe in looking at the data. I truly believe in partnership with my clients. So if something goes well, we both succeed. And if something goes bad, we both have to figure out what's not going well. Because I can bring you all the leads in the world. I can bring you really cheap leads. But if something falls off after that, if I bring people to your house and then you don't invite them in, then what's the point?
Yeah.
Right. So so I started with that. And also I believe that if we get people that are experts on what they do and they want to work in an account, then their lives are better, their work is better, and the client benefits. So in that sense, we're not a normal agency. We actually put teams together as needed. So I don't have somebody sitting around that I pay every month and I'm like, oh, I know you don't know how to do this, but I'm paying you and this client needs it, so let's put you together. We do not do that. We actually actively go and say, okay, I need a TikTok specialist, or I need a Facebook specialist. And I also believe that the algorithms are complicated enough that you cannot be a specialist in Google and in Facebook and in Instagram and in Twitter. So I look for people that only specialize in one channel, but know how to coordinate with other channels. So
that's cool.
it. Yeah. So that's how SpringHill Digital was born, and we only do paid media. We do not specialize in one industry. We specialize in one part of marketing, and we do it for many different industries, which is also a little bit different than other agencies. But absolutely love what I do.
That's excellent. I love the fact that you just bring in specialists as and when you need it. It's almost if you look at the traditional way of working, it's like you said, you set up a team and then it's, can you do this? I can a bit. Okay, we'll learn a bit more and then you can do that for the foreseeable when you've already got a team and you're not looking to employ anyone else. I think that's completely out the window now, and we should be picking and choosing these teams for specialists, certain elements and certain channels and certain comms, because you get the best out of people then.
Yeah, and everybody benefits. I mean, people are happier coming to work. People are happier receiving that work. It's a higher quality, and whenever somebody hires us, they know that if I tell you we can do this channel, that means we can. And that you're going to have the best person at it. You're not going to have the intern doing social media, which sometimes that's what happens. Like you were saying, like, you don't know about it, that's fine. Learn it, and then we'll pretend that we do. And we don't. We're also very honest. If somebody asks us to do something that we don't know, we're like, okay, well, we don't know how to do it. Let's go into it together, and then we'll figure out something that will work for both of us. And that honesty always brings more honesty and more trust.
Yeah.
And that's at the end of the day what a partnership should be.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I just think that we do have all our specialisms, but bringing them together collectively, it can multiply what we actually do. And by no way, shape or form was I saying that to create a culture, you need to build a team around you and keep that team together because you grow stronger together. But the great thing about how you work is that you can work with somebody, and if they're good at what they do, you retain them, you keep them for certain projects. If they're not, then it's like you just find somebody better and you build up and build up and build up that way, which is fantastic. I love it. Yeah.
And also when somebody can work with many different clients, even if it's not our clients, then they bring a wealth of knowledge that otherwise maybe we wouldn't be able to provide, right? So that I absolutely love, and I am not afraid of my contractors to have other clients outside of us. What they cannot do, obviously, is have the same industry, like a competitor of our clients. So there are limits to our relationship, but go ahead and just have other clients and bring what you learn there into our clients, and let's think outside the box, because otherwise you get inside the box if you only do one industry, if you only do one type of client. So we often bring knowledge from other clients, and it's fantastic.
And there's nothing more prevalent to highlight that fact than what's going on in the world right now. If somebody's one-dimensional and they're focusing on one channel, and I'm thinking more traditional channels here, but if they're just focused on that one channel and then that completely disappears, i.e. footfall through a door, what do you do? And it's interesting that we should be looking at different channels, because we don't want to be in that in that situation where that one channel that's generating the income fails for us.
Exactly.
So today I'd like to get some actionable tips from you on Facebook ads, because it's one area we haven't covered on Marketing Studies Lab, but I'm fully aware that it's one area that a lot of people know about. A lot of people see them on a daily basis without a doubt, and they can pay lip service to them, but whether they know the ins and outs of them, I'm not quite sure. And what makes it tick, I'm not sure. So what I'd like to start with is basically, what is a Facebook ad?
Yeah. So a Facebook ads are ads that can appear in your news feed where you're reading your news and keeping up with friends, or they can show up in the right-hand corner. And it can be in desktop or mobile. But what makes Facebook so particular and so good at is these ads are highly targeted.
Okay.
So Facebook keeps information about what each user does in its platform and sometimes outside of the platform. So it creates a profile of you. So it knows where you like to hang out. Like maybe you like soccer or football.
Thank you.
Football, and maybe you like certain teams, maybe you like to hang out in certain pages. So it starts creating this football profile of you like sports. So if I had something related to sports or a particular sport, I would definitely want to target you because you're interested in it. So without Facebook doesn't tell me you, Peter, are the person that is going to be targeted. It's telling me, a male between the ages of 30 and 50 that likes soccer or football. Ooh, that's going to be difficult.
Soccer's fine. So
you can target people through demographics, age. You can target them by gender. You can target them by many demographic, location. But you can also, by those interests that I just mentioned, by the websites or groups they follow, by anything that indicates a behavior. So Facebook is really good. If I want who to target, I go to Facebook. Plus, they were, from the beginning, really good at it, and they have evolved in such a way that you can be really surgical about how you do this. But the only thing that you don't know is if it's the right moment for your product. Let's say we're talking about snow tires. I can actually target people that live in areas prone to snow. I can target people that drive or are interested in a certain type of car. Now, is it the time now to advertise for snow tires? Are they looking for the snow tires? I don't know that. I just know that whenever that person is interested, she is there for me. In comparison, whenever you compare to Google ads or Bing ads, those are intention based. That means I am searching for snow tires. You don't know who I am, but you know that I'm looking for snow tires. So it's a different way to approach it, and it's a different game plan. In Facebook, so you are interrupting their programming. They're there looking for news, to catch up with friends, to see videos of 5 ways to cook an egg, and then all of a sudden, you've seen it. I know you like it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on day 5 of 5. It's brilliant.
Yes. And then your ad comes in. So you're interrupting their programming. So there is certain things that we need to do to make that less intrusive, and especially nowadays. You cannot be tone deaf to what your audience is going through. So in a nutshell, that's what Facebook ads are.
Okay, so how targeted can we be? I know you mentioned quite a few elements there in terms of how we can target, but are we talking a singular person with no name but just a demographic? Are we talking 10, 100, 1,000? What numbers are we talking about here?
Well, Facebook has gotten really, really good at protecting your privacy, so audiences cannot be too small. Otherwise, then you can identify almost who they are. So actually, whenever you're, as an example, uploading email addresses and creating lookalike audiences, which lookalike audiences are audiences that look like something else. So if I upload a list of email addresses of customers, as an example, and I say, you know what, I know these people have bought from me. I know they have something in common. Facebook, figure out what they have in common, and then give me people like my customers, right? So even in those elements, you have to have a number that protects their privacy. So I like to say, if you have 1,000 members and above, then the privacy is protected. But Facebook is going to establish limits. And even in email addresses, you cannot go below 300.
Okay. One thing I found really interesting, and it was just highlighted in, it's probably a workshop I was doing, was the fact that all these other different sources and software and things online where you can sign up using Google, you can sign up using your Facebook login account. And I'm like, well, that's a simplistic way of doing it, but I can't figure out this link. And then it kind of clicked, and it was, well, obviously, because then they get the information from that site about what you're doing. And and then it all kind of made sense. So for people that are listening, just be wary when you are signing up. Yeah, it's dead easy to use an additional account that you've already got to sign up to something, but your data's being tracked.
It's being tracked. And as I said, Facebook, I'm going to defend Facebook a little bit on this one. Facebook is protecting your individual privacy, but do not be surprised if you log into a coffee maker website with your Facebook account, and then all of a sudden you start receiving a lot of coffee makers ads. So everything you do has a consequence, everything you do online. And in that, Facebook is free. What you're giving up is your information, your behavior, and you're letting the platform and the AI learn about you and how you behave. So that's the coin, that's the payment.
Yeah. And I'm just to disclose that I'm like all for them having that information, because it gives me a better user experience across everything that I do. As long as what I'm doing is ethical and above board, then I don't see any issues. I think there's a lot of fallacies out there in terms of what this data is used for and can be used for, and yeah, there's breaches and everything like that. But in the main, I'm actually comfortable with people having my data and information for the user experience, because it's a payoff, like you say.
Exactly. And that's also, it's a big part, like we talked about audiences. So in SpringHill Digital, we try to give our audiences, our brands, and their audiences and their customers a relevant experience. So whenever we look at audiences, it's not so that, I mean, it is so I can sell more, but you're only going to buy if it's relevant to you. I do not want to be annoying. So if males 25 to 34 do not care for my product, I'm going to exclude them from my audience, and I'm just going to give it to people that are going to care. So in that sense, would you like, if you do not have kids, would you like to receive ads that are about diapers? No. You know, so that's where it comes in. And if you have kids and you have younger kids, you may be interested in diapers, but if you have teenagers, you may be interested in something else. So if you look at advertising in that sense, like, I am satisfying a need and I'm going to find people that have that need, then advertising can be actually used for good. But we all know of many examples of people that have used it for not so good reasons. And that's in everything. You have good and bad people everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Completely agree with you. I think Target was a great example of the whole nappies and pregnancy thing, because they could work out from what people were buying. Female customers were buying, whether they were pregnant or not, and then they had specific targeted product placements within their newsletters that said, buy this and buy that. I'm comfortable with that. People think it's sneaky, but I'm quite comfortable with things like that, because, like you said, it's probably something you're gonna want. So you know,
exactly,
that's fine.
Yeah, Target took it a little bit too far. You know, but we're all learning. Every even the best intentions can at some point. So I don't blame Target for skipping a bit there, but and taking it a little bit too far. But I thought their heart was in the right place, and I thought they used their data properly, and it was true. That person was pregnant. So
it was a little bit a little bit over the line, but in the essence of it and the practicalities of what they were trying to do made perfect sense to me.
Exactly.
So I'd like to move on to more of the back end now. I know we've spoken about targeting and almost building that persona, which is fantastic to do for anyone looking to just understand their audience on and off Facebook. But there's this thing that Facebook have now, which is Facebook Ads Manager, which allows you to create and develop your own ads. So what do we need to know to get started on this platform?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the first, I love Business Manager, is the best improvement to Facebook ads ever made. It makes creating ads very simple. So you can create ads without Business Manager, but if you have a page and are going to think about running ads, do get the Business Manager. It's free. Facebook helps you setting up because it's going to be much easier to manage your audiences. It's much easier to manage your ads, your creative. Everything is just so much easier. Once you start creating an ad within Business Manager, the most important part is the first step, and it's telling Facebook what your objective is. It doesn't seem like it would be, but it is going to determine how the rest of the campaign is defined and it's designed. So there are things that Facebook options that will be determined based on your objective. And once you create a campaign with a certain objective, you cannot change that objective. You can change many things about ad groups, and you can change things about the ads, but the campaign objective will always remain the same. So what I will say to businesses thinking about starting is think about what you want to get out of Facebook ads first, make a game plan, and then create an ad. Because there is brand awareness where you're going to tell Facebook, hey, I want to get in front of as many people as possible. So I want impressions, or I want a number of people, or I want to be 3 times in 1 week in front of the same person. So that's brand awareness. And Facebook is going to concentrate on delivering impressions or getting those eyeballs on your ads. But if you tell Facebook, I actually want people that will buy my product, then that's a conversion. And that you're telling Facebook, I don't care. And it's not that I don't care, but don't concentrate so much in the impressions. I want to get people that are going to buy my product. And so it concentrates on that, and your cost per impression, your cost per reaching that one person may go up, but your cost per sale may go down. So you have to think about this, and there is 1,000 steps in the middle, like creating the conversion and what does it mean, and can you start a campaign based on conversions, which if you're new to Facebook, probably that's not the right thing, because Facebook needs a certain number of conversions to learn who that person is. So there is a process, but the first step is thinking, what do I want from Facebook ads? What am I going to tell Facebook algorithm to optimize for? Because it's going to drop the rest of the key performance metrics, and it's going to concentrate in the one that you're telling them.
Really interesting, because it's just similar to what you do from a marketing strategy or tactics or however you want to implement it. It's like, what do you want to achieve? And I think that's the difference, and the difference maker from a good marketer and somebody that doesn't know the foundations of good marketing is the fact that if you want brand awareness or you want to generate leads, they're two massively different things.
Yeah.
So you need to look at them very differently, but to somebody from the outside looking in, they might not see that. They just see it as marketing, if you like.
Yeah, absolutely. And whenever you ask clients and businesses, what do you want? It's always more sales. Of course, it's always more sales. But we as marketers have to figure out the best way to get there. And sometimes it's not the direct path. Actually, most often than not, is not a direct path there. I don't just put an ad on Facebook and let it rain money, because it's not how it is. Although a lot of people think about it, think, oh, I need to be in Facebook or in Instagram and then money will rain over me. No, you have to have a plan. You have to, if you do not have enough traffic to your site, if you do not give enough food to the algorithm to figure out what your profile, what the audience profile is, then the algorithm won't work for you. You will just spend a lot of money and the algorithm will be lost. So the game plan is normally let the algorithm learn by driving traffic, by driving brand awareness. And then once the algorithm knows, then go to like more direct paths. And then you go retarget, you go lookalikes, you go custom audiences. So there is a path. I always tell people Facebook ads look way more simpler than they truly are.
Yeah.
Because it's really user friendly. You're like, oh, I just click here, click here, click here. And I was like, it looks simple, but it is not.
Yeah. And I think that's a perfect way to summarize a social media marketer or a social media expert and somebody that uses social media, because front facing, it should look simple, it should look easy, it should look obvious, but the back end is far from it. And that's a really good way of summing it all. So speaking of the front facing part, you've got your audience, you know, what they like and how you're going to target them, and that specific subset of your target market. You've told a business manager what you want to achieve. Now you need to make the actual Facebook ad. So what elements do we need here? And what makes a good ad?
So before the ad, you go into the audience. So you go objective, and then you go into your audience and your budget and your bidding strategy. But then you create the ad. In that ad, there are several elements that you have to look at. First is, what is your offer? What are you offering? Right? It has to be relevant to the audience. You cannot just talk all about you and just offer nothing. You have to give them something. Now in social media and in paid social media, you have to give before you can receive. I sound like I'm in church. But it is true. You have to give before you can receive. So you have to have a good offer. You have to have a clear call to action, which we also call CTA. What do you want them to do? People will only do what you tell them to. And these can be applied to any part of marketing, any part of advertising. This was the same case in infomercials. Whenever we were advertising, we'll have the phone number up all the time, but only when the voiceover will say, call now, people will actually call, even though the phone number was always there.
Yeah.
So in that sense, very, very clear, only include one CTA. A lot of people get confused, like, follow us, but go to my website, but get this coupon. No, be simple. People don't have time to figure out, okay, you're giving me way too many choices. So that's about the CTA. And then kind of wrapping all of that is your messaging. Your messaging has to be, again, all about the audience and what they're going through. No matter what. Is it a recession? Is it a good economy? Is it a pandemic? What is it? And how does your message how does it adapt to it? And then the other elements, more obvious, are the picture. The picture has to coordinate with the message, which you cannot imagine how many times I have seen a message go one way and the picture just reflect other. And you're like, that's not making sense. Your picture is up to 70-80% of your ad in some formats. So it needs to tell a story. It needs to have meaning. If I take everything else out, does the picture tell me that story? So whether whether the picture is a very professional picture or you know, a picture that you and I could make with our iPhone, that it's not as relevant as it needs to go with the message.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the elements that I really always look at, that make a good ad. And all of it has to be in conjunction. They all have to work together.
Absolutely. Is there something on the creative side of it? I'm talking images and video here. Is there something that works better than other elements? Like, I think you can have carousels and all that kind of stuff. Or is it dependent again on the message and the industry and all that kind of thing?
It depends a lot, but I'm going to tell you, if you have a video, which I highly recommend, videos, you can make videos within the platform very easily. You don't need a video production. If you have 6 pictures, then you can tell Facebook to make a video of it. So it's just like a slideshow, and then they even give you some music or some things that you can figure out and make a small video. Whatever you do, even if it's produced or you make it within platform, make the video, the first 3 seconds are key.
Okay.
Because if people are scrolling through their news feed, you need those 3 seconds to make them curious about what's next. And you have to get your brand out there. I cannot have 3 seconds of dead air. I cannot have 3 seconds that doesn't attract people. Don't get my name out. You lost them. Just those 3 seconds are wasted, and they will move on. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen somebody go through their news feed? It's just super fast.
Yeah.
So I'm being generous with 3 seconds. I almost recommend down to 2, but 3 seconds, it's a good compromise for somebody that have not done it before, because it's very difficult to get a message within 2 seconds. But those first 2 seconds are the most important.
I mean, and those 2 seconds don't necessarily have to be the message. It just needs to grab the attention as well. And I think the marker that I would put there is that if you're not sure how important that is, make a Facebook account or go on your own Facebook account and start scrolling. And what's grabbing your attention, and how long are you giving that video to gain your attention? And that is your marker.
Exactly. Or go and look at competitive. Very few businesses do this. If you have a competitor that you know is doing good advertising, or you have an aspirational brand. I mean, I'm not Apple, but if I like their styling, I like their pictures, then I go and look at how they're doing and then apply it to my business. So you can go into Facebook and look at what each brand is doing. You can see their ads, their historic ads. So I love doing that.
Sneaky.
Yeah, it is sneaky, but it's about their transparency. So without having to receive them, you can go into, let's say, L'Oreal page, and you go to their about page, their information, and there is a place for transparency, and it will tell you this company is running ads. And then you can click on it and then go in and see everything that they're doing. So go to a big brand, see how they're doing it. Go to your competitors. Can you do better? Can you do equally? And just start comparing what you can do, because it's also about, like we said, it's about your resources. Maybe you don't have money to go and have a video producer, but you could make a 6-picture video in a platform. So, yeah.
So speaking of finances, there's just one element that I wanted to just go back on before we look at what you do after you've hit that big red submit button and everyone sees your fantastic ad. And that's the bid strategy. So we've done all those elements, but there's one thing that you highlighted that we haven't covered yet, is a bid strategy. So what are we talking about here? Yeah,
your bid strategy, there is many elements to it, but basically is, how do you want to enter the auction? You can just only trust Facebook and say, hey, my objective is to get traffic to my website. So get as many people to my landing page as possible. And Facebook will know when somebody has landed on your page, and at the lowest cost. And you say, Facebook, you handle that. And that's you doing it. And so it will try to find that person that will go to your landing page for the lowest cost. Now your costs there are very variable, because one day may be $1, the next day maybe 50 cents, and then in weekends it may be $2.
Mm.
So if you have an appetite for a variable cost per landing page, then you leave it there, and you know at the end of the month it's going to balance out in some sort of number.
Okay.
But it's very susceptible to trends.
Mm-hmm.
So another way will be to say, okay, Facebook, I want my average bid to be 50 cents. Like, okay, if you go up one day, then you have to go down the next day.
Mm.
And so in that sense, you're not giving total freedom to the algorithm. You're saying stay within 50 cents. Or the third option will be, I don't want to go over 50 cents because I cannot afford it, right? If you get a sale for 50 cents, then I'm good. If you give it for $10, then I'm not good. I'm not making any money. So your ability to spend budget then comes into play, because whenever you give the freedom for Facebook, the more freedom you give it, the more budget you will spend from your planned budget.
Mm-hmm.
But the more restrictive you are, then you probably won't spend as much budget. I have clients who are doing cost per likes. They're trying to build a community, and when we go with cost, just a restricted cost, we do 1/10 of the budget than if we tell the algorithm to go to town.
Okay.
But
yeah.
again, it's, can the brand afford it? Is that within your objectives? Right?
Yeah.
So, and your objectives, the bidding strategy can be changed over time. And normally I will start with, let's see where the market is. Let's see how much budget we can spend. Let's see what Facebook thinks. Is it an average of 30 cents? Is it an average of $3? And then from then on, once we know, okay, we cannot go over a certain limit, then the decision comes, you won't spend as much budget. Is that okay? And they say yes, because I'm not making money at a certain level. Then we balance them out. So It's not an easy answer. You have many options, and then you have to find what's right for your business. And I didn't even get into whether you pay per impression or per page. Like that's just getting into a rabbit hole, which I would love to go into.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But those are basic bidding strategies that you can find.
Absolutely, and it's whatever's right for the business, like you say. It's whatever is affordable at the time and whatever you want to achieve, and a whole host of things go into that. But it was just interesting to highlight that there are a whole load of bidding strategies that you can implement. Alongside that is the after it goes live. So we're doing this for a certain objective, to achieve a certain objective. But whether we achieve that, we can only do by looking at the metrics. So what metrics should we be looking at?
Okay. So now we're at the end of the process. And guess what? We're going to look back to your objective and to the beginning of the process. Because if your objective was to create brand awareness, the performance metrics that we're going to look at are number of impressions, cost per impression, number of people I'm reaching, how many times I'm reaching them, and engagement. I probably are more likely to look at whether people are answering or commenting on it. Are they sharing my posts? Like, what kind of brand awareness? And there is a estimated call lift, that brand recall lift that Facebook can actually give you, and it will tell you, well, 2 days after they have seen your ad, 2% of people recall your ad and they know who you are. So those metrics are very brand awareness level. If I actually told Facebook and I want traffic to my site, then, which I will always recommend, do landing page as an objective. Like, you do traffic and then you say, I want people arriving to my landing page. If you want that, then we will look at how many people click on it, the link clicks, and how many people arrive to the landing page. And then what did they do afterwards? But I'm not telling Facebook I want people that convert and become a lead. I just want people to get to the landing page. So because of many reasons, that It's a very valid objective. So that's what it is. Now, if I say conversions and I want leads, then I have to go farther. And although I'm worried about my cost per impression and how much it costs per eyeball looking at my ad, that's not my main concern. My main concern is, what is my cost per sale or cost per lead? So I go all the way down in the process and I say, well, yeah, my CPMs are very cheap, but people are not converting, so this is not working. Or my CPMs are really high, I'm not getting as much traffic, but guess what? The traffic I'm getting is really qualified and it's converting. So I'm okay with that. So again, depends on what objective you set out for Facebook to achieve and for your campaign to achieve. And then you go back. And I have clients that have many objectives. So what we do is we create different campaigns and then we track them and balance budget according to what's fitting their needs best. But you cannot achieve everything with one campaign. That's also a very big mistake that people think I'm just one campaign does it all. No, it doesn't.
And that's very simply put and perfectly put in a way that it covers just all the things we try and do in marketing. So it's about a customer journey. So you're not saying you'll do this Facebook ad and it'll inform people, it'll make people aware, it'll get people interested, it'll get them to convert, it'll get them to engage, it'll get them to be an advocate of you. No. It like you said, it's one CTA, one purpose. Follow the journey. What's the next step? And usually that end conversion will be off Facebook, and by conversion, I don't necessarily mean monetary, because it might not be, but usually that conversion's off Facebook. So it's like tracking it all the way back again, customer journey, step by step. Facebook might only be one part, a really good, crucial part, but one part.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a client whose only method of advertising is Facebook. Like there's no other marketing, just Facebook. Yet the orders come from direct traffic. And when we stop advertising on Facebook, direct orders drop.
Oh, wow.
So know that people may not convert right away from Facebook, but you need to be aware that there is an influence that is happening. And there is many reasons why that's there. And we can go into another fun rabbit hole here. But know that it's going to influence the rest of your marketing. Facebook doesn't work alone.
Absolutely. And for anyone that's listening, just think about what you've seen in your Facebook feed. And one, have you bought anything from that company? And two, have you gone through that Facebook ad? Possibly not. At the moment, I'm getting hit with a lot of Disney Plus adverts on my feed. Would I go through Facebook to subscribe? No. I'd probably go direct to site. Exactly what you were just saying there. So again, it depends what your objective is. Absolutely. So my objective now, Naira, is to provide you with some quick fire questions and get you to answer them as quickly as possible. Are you ready for that?
I may, yes. Let's go. Let's do it.
Good start. Really good start. Okay. What's that source of info that you just cannot live without?
I cannot live without Facebook business information and other people's podcasts like yours.
Yay!
So, yes, like your podcast. Did I answer that perfect?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I told you to. Absolutely. What was the last thing you remember Googling?
I Google the Van Gogh piece of art that just got stolen.
Oh, didn't know about that. Interesting. I'll be looking at that.
There you go. That's going to be your first Google.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. After this, definitely. If you could tell your 10-year-old self one thing, what would it be?
Continue coding. I started coding. I know. I'm going to date myself now, but I started with Logo, which is something that probably nobody remembers, but it was like very, very, even before Basic, before everything, it was just very, very, very basic, really. And I started with that, creating the little games that would tuk, 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 tuk. And went into Basic from there, did some other programming, but then I stopped. And I didn't think that was a career choice, that you could actually do that for a living. I would tell myself, stick to it. You're a data geek. You love that stuff. You can actually really make a career with that.
Yeah, I honestly think I would do the same. I think if I could tell my 10-year-old self one thing, I'd say, there's this internet, I'm dating myself here, there's this internet thingy gonna crop up. It's gonna be a big deal. And the best thing you can do is ignore the fancy, flashy, colored things that are coming up on your screen and look at the back end and learn and understand that. I think that's what I'd do. And my 10-year-old self would be, no, I just want to go and play soccer. That's all I want to do. Like, go away, crazy man. Okay, so what's the one thing we need to know in marketing right now?
These also shall pass, meaning every situation, every environment, everything that is happening now, whatever that is, it will pass, and you need a plan for it. Mm-hmm. Whether now it's really good economy, it will at some point, the economies are cycles, it will go down. Have a plan for that. If it's really bad right now, know that these will pass, and it may be a different world after today, but it will be there. You need a plan. So have a plan, because today is only today. It's not tomorrow.
Absolutely, completely agree again.
Philosophical.
Absolutely, great way to finish though. So, Naira, final question. If people want to find out more about you, where should they go?
So we have a Facebook profile where we put articles, and a LinkedIn profile, facebook.com/SpringHill Digital, same for LinkedIn. You can also find us with our website, SpringHillDigital.com. And you can always send me an email at info@SpringHillDigital.com. Actually, that email goes to me directly. So, I will be the one answering it. So if you or your audience have questions, want to follow up on something, just let me know.
Naira, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure. So interesting. I had such a good time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a fantastic rest of your day.